A warm welcome to the audience. My name is Patrick Findeis. I'm the responsible partner at BDO for text technology. This is, I have to supply all my colleagues with the digital tools they need, and of course supply my clients with all the digital connectivity we need to compile tax returns and do all the stuff. It's an ACM-based solution for German property tax declarations and assessment notes processing, and why this just came in place and why and what we did, I will show you in the next 15 minutes. So, first of all, BDO is an audit company. We are a network of audit companies worldwide. We are the number 5, so we are never tell our name when say, yeah, we have the big 4 companies, and yeah, okay, you are number 5. So just some figures about us. We have over 95,000 colleagues of mine all over the world. We are doing an $11.8 billion revenue here in Germany, 304 million revenues. And one of our departments is the digital business unit, where especially Julia Pausch is a part of. Many of you will know her. And we do there a 13.5 million revenue. We had a high court ruling in Germany that all the tax evaluations for the property tax are null and void. Then, hence, 40 million tax returns have to be compiled and filed, submit to the tax authority within 4 months. So it's a little bit of a challenge. So, due to the how should I put this? Due to the situation of the German tax authorities, all this tax assessment note will come in paper. And it's not just one assessment note for each tax return, tax declaration, but 2. And everyone has, every of these tax returns have to be 2 to 4 sheets, printed in duplex. So as I said, we have 640 million of pages in all of Germany to process. If you remember, the British cut their woods for their fleet. We cut our woods for tax assessment notes. So, and to make it, when it comes to taxes, or taxes, not taxes, when it comes to taxes, Germany is quite difficult. So we like to do it very, very perfect. So we have 7 different evaluation models for property, depending where this property is located. We have then 3 different kind of tax measurements within the so-called federal model. Even if it's called federal model, there is a separation between the federal model. And of course, hence we had to comply to 7 different XSD, XML schemes to transfer the data electronically. Okay, we have to transfer the data electronically to the tax authority, but we will receive paper. Find the error. So, we have one calculation core that makes all the evaluations say, hey, we do predict that this will be the taxation value for this respective property. That one was built by me. This particular area of expertise in taxes was not touched for 60 years in Germany until this High Court ruling, and hence our great challenge in a nutshell was to build a tax application from scratch without any documentation on the official Elster interface, fulfilling a random German tax act on an area of expertise that wasn't touched in 60 years, while keeping our mental sanity intact. So yeah, this is when it comes to German taxes. So in the last years, this was just a recap of the last year's presentation. This was about filing the tax return, and now we are processing the tax assessment notes, or the Steuerbescheid, as we call it in Germany. This is the process we have for the manual check. So we are in a situation to have a workflow, and it is as hilarious as it is seen here. And the challenge for Julia and her team was to take this and put it into an ACM application. So the first thing is, because we receive this tax assessment notes in paper, is to open the envelope. And if you are recalling, these are some 80 million envelopes to open. You can't do this manually, so we have a machine that opens the envelopes. If one of you have all seen your post rooms in your company, maybe they have some machines as well. And then, of course, you have to scan and OCR it, because it's still in paper. There's nothing digital. So we have this high-performance ScanMac C3PO R2D2, don't know the thing, name, that do all the scanning and the OCRing, and every once in a while he's a little bit stuttering. So, and then we have an OCR, we have PDF, we have an OCR PDF, but still no digital processing. So what's next? So we have to, of course, do the checking, the clarifying, classify, and the processing of this particular text assessment node. So check if this one is really a text assessment node. There is a separate postal address for our scan center, but maybe one of the tax authorities just sent something else, or we just received commercials like the last Hoffa offer or something like this. So we have to check if this is really a tax assessment node that belongs to us. Then what kind of tax assessment node is it? Remember, we receive 2 different for every tax declaration. And then we have to extract all the data, all the relevant data. What is the file number, or we call it Aktenzeichen in Germany. We have the reference date, what is the Stichtag, the issue date. When did the tax authority issued the tax assessment note? Because if you like to make an appeal because the tax authorities did something wrong, you have 1 month time starting at the issue date. And of course, we have to extract the taxation basis, so the value to compare between what we are targeted and what's was set in the value set in the tax assessment note. And this is just the tax point of view, and now the technical point of view. So this assessment note has to be assigned to this certain case where the tax declaration was created, submitted, and filed. And then a new process has to be started, check this assessment note. One of my colleagues has to have a look into it. And then we need to assign this particular process to the correct and responsible person. And of course, it has to be processed. And only then, if the tax assessment note arrived, then this action appeal appeal is possible. Not before we receive the tax assessment note, we cannot appeal. So, and how does this work? So this is, many of you know, the Papyrus widget, and every once in a while, when we do the scanning and the OCRing, the OCR goes into error. So in that particular case, this file number was not read correctly, and the name of the tax office was not extracted correctly. So someone has a scan manager, has to do some correctings, and then everything is green, so it can be saved, and the processing starts over. So we have a little bit of a split in our process for the full automated path and for the semi-automated path, and this is the semi-automated path. So, and now all this dark side processing starts. The machine has now all the information that it's needed. We scanned the tax assessment node, we did the OCR, we did the extraction, we made the target and actual comparison, and now all this back magic starts where the new process is started, the process is assigned, and on the very next day, in the morning, 2 hours later, one of my colleagues receives a mail, hey, you're a lucky guy, you have to check this tax assessment node. So, without this adaptive case management, some 50 to 100,000 pieces of paper had to be processed by our assistance people manually. And if you're following a little bit the German market, we are very stretched thinly on personnel in the tax area. So actually, I'm hiring, if you're interested, let's talk outside. So it would be, and due to this High Court ruling that these 40 million tax returns had to be compiled in this very short amount of time, this was work on top. So beside of all the balance sheets, beside of the corporate tax return, besides of the VATs, beside of the personal income tax return, we had to do this on top. And if I would have gone to my colleagues and saying, hey, you have to do this manually on top of your work, they would just get some firewood and some forks and just burn him. So Yeah, so we had to do something digitally. So, and actually, the property tax is the oldest tax we know in all of the world, and this was actually a digital driver. So this was one of the things we said, yeah, we have to do it completely digital, because elsewise we've just been mad about this amount of work we have to do. So these significant numbers of hours we would have to do manually were now transferred into the machine using ACM. So without this as a base, this ACM framework, if we would have to do it from the scratch, we wouldn't have, it wouldn't be finished by now. And so, as I said, they would start doing the firewood thing. And what happens if someone else, because we are also licensing out our tool to clients, if a tax assessment note is not mailed to our scan center, but it's scanned either by one of our offices or one of our clients, then there's the possibility to use the web uploader. So these are some of the text assessment notes. Just do some visual checks. Is this complete? Are these the correct files? And then they are uploaded using drag and drop into the Grizzly. And the Grizzly is doing check, 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 the uploading and then all the processing. So even if the assessment note is not sent to BDO directly and not processed in our scan center, we can use this functionality as well. And this is then the process overview. This is Steuererklärung abgegeben, what is just the German word for, where's my pointer here, for tax declaration submitted or filed to the tax authorities. And this Bescheid eingelangt is just the German wording for we received the tax assessment note, and then this processing started. So as you see here, this PDF document is then correctly assigned to the respective tax declaration, and my colleagues can do all the checks they need, and then as you see here, this is the final tax assessment, and my colleagues can perform the checks on the tax return and then call the client and say, hey, we received the tax return, the tax assessment note, it is in line with our expected value, so are you fine with it, or should we file an appeal? Oops. What is then this button? This button is only accessible if the status is on Bescheid eingelangt. So this is what we did with ACM, totally out of the banking area, totally out of the insurance area, but absolutely helpful. Thank you for this. And we had challenges, of course, in what I said in the very beginning, to keep our mental sanity intact. We had to connect to a web interface to the tax authorities that is absolutely not documented, where it's absolutely not possible to test with the financial authorities. You can submit the XML to them, and they do just a syntax check. The semantics are absolutely unchecked. When we had a call with them saying, hey, it's a completely new kind of text that we are now doing digitally. Is it possible that we send you an XML, you process it, and send us back a test tax assessment note and say, no, this is not foreseen, deal with it. Say, okay, we start here with an untested for 40 million tax returns. We have to do it with an untested interface. What possibly could go wrong? Hold my beer. So, so this is one of the things, and of course, nobody know how this layouts of the different tax assessment notes will look like. So we have to adapt. These are actually coming now. The tax authorities issuing currently the assessment notes. So we have now something in our hands where we can train the systems, but it's like a moving target, and we have to correct our aim every once in a while. And depending on what federal state these are printed on, they are different in layout, and oh my God, it's a mayhem. But hey, it's Germany. Everything has a regulation except of this one. So, anything other mentionable? We need, as I said, a fast reaction time. We have the subcase management with this appeal process and check of tax assessment note. And of course, we had our problems, and the last one is shown here in the executive summary. So, to get it all together, We need a high volume in scanning and recognition over different interfaces, scanning or uploading. We showed this in the 2 videos. We have an adaptive process for different use cases. We need a fast reacting to unknown requirements. As I said, in the very moment we receive one of these assessments, not the very first time, we have to check if our extracting and OCR routines are still doing their job. And we need adoption of the processes if required, especially for the appeal process. Some of our clients have the 4 eyes principles, others have 6 eyes principles. Okay, let's adapt the process. And actually we had some performance problems at the beginning. And what I definitely liked of Papyrus is that they jumped in without hesitation, that they helped us. It's not like, so, if you have performance problems, you're doing maybe something wrong, or your CPU is too slow, or your RAM is not enough. So no. They jumped in and said, okay, show me the thing, what is happening? And there are other vendors who do it in a different way, but Papyrus did it, from my point of view, in a very professional way. As I said, we had to do this 40 million tax returns for all of Germany on the 1st of January 2022. And just to keep this evaluation connected to the market value, we have to redo this in Germany every 7 years. So we have to do the so-called update declarations. Either these 7 years are done, so 2029, we have to do this mayhem again. Or there's something changing in the building, there's a new level, or this building is gone and you build something new, and then you have to do an update declaration. This is something that we have to build into the ACM application, into the Grizzly. It's not done yet. And what some of our clients were asking, after we now make a kind of a general inventory of all our real estate property, could you please transfer this data back so we can make an update to our real estate database we have for our real estate management? Yes, well, if you are not in, exactly. So if you're not up to date with your real estate inventory, we are sure to help you. Please, let's negotiate times and rates. And we will do this. And this will be the 3rd part of the story of the onward going journey of the Grizzly next year. And Christoph, hopefully we will meet here in a year's time, and I will show you the 3rd time.
Thank you, Patrick. That was really great.